Welcome back to another episode on the VanillaTyme server. We finally got to run the machines, and oh wow, was that a lot of fun. One of the machines did break, and that's only because we were outside of chunk range, so I'm just going to have to make sure from now on that I am within 128 blocks before running a machine. And there was a little issue with the sorter. It kind of backs up around the hoppers here a little bit, and we had an issue with one of the carpets popping off the top, but we fixed that by adding an extra glass block. We also had a little bit of issue with a couple of the carpets. The black, white, and lime green had a little bit of overage. The white especially, and I think it's just because the water stream's here. But yeah, I might have to switch this out completely with hoppers if I want to fully secure the system for the sorter. Otherwise, you know, just moving stuff from here into the correct spots are fine. And of course, if I run too many machines at once, then the whole system backs up a little bit, so we just got to give it time to clear in between runs. But it's clean again and ready for another map. So I think we'll get to that a little bit later, but for now, I think what we want to do is focus on this build right here. So the wool farm has been sitting here for a while, since I built it. We did get this nice little platform in with the sorter, but really the top end here is, it's a mess. We've got a little tiny bee farm under here that's been producing honeycomb, and yeah, it's still running. We got this thing running. Everything works, but the problem is that it's ugly. The upgraded build needs to make sure that I can still get into the dispensers to replace the shears. So I'm not really sure what I want to do with this. This building was really big and very boxy. I'd like to avoid that because I'm going to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of this build. It's a little too square compared to everything else. Like every other build is kind of like bouldery-like. This one's fine. This one's a little too boxy, a little too modern despite the block palette. And it just kind of looks like something out of 2012. I understand that I had to make something really big in order to fit the whole farm inside, but I think we can do better here. This doesn't need to be quite as tall, and I could set up something like a little bit longer. So I'm gonna pop into a creative world and work on that. Hello, sheep. They're staring at me and it's creeping me out. And yeah, we'll see what I can come up with, and hopefully I can get something in that's, well, nicer than that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but something reasonable, and something that I can still access. So yeah, we'll see what's going on there. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but oh no, I think I did mention this before. The little interior I built here. I can't remember if it made it into a video or not. Well, if not, here it is. Another thing I'd like to get to is converting this building right here. I've been avoiding it because it's a little bit bigger than the other starter houses, and it does have a farm in it. So I have to keep that in mind. So we've got an allay just sitting in a boat in case we ever want to duplicate them, and there's a little automatic fish farm that Harding built, and I'd like to keep that intact. It's also very close to this build here, which I do eventually want to convert, so I gotta be careful of that too. I think a little bit of, yeah, I've got some space in the back because that's where the allay sits, right? So I definitely want to do something with that too. And just like that, we have a build. It's nothing special. I did add the banners, the wool over here, but I left the doors kind of open a little bit. There are like individual doors to get into like the little nooks and crannies, including this little spot here, which we can use to refill our dispensers if we need to. Not really much to talk about for this one. It's just a shell. It's a big boulder that goes around. One little change I had to make from the time lapse was I popped out the slabs that I initially put over top of the sheep. This is just so that there's sky access to the grass that they're sitting on that they eat, just so it replenishes a little bit faster. Sky access is important for grass regrowth. I'm pretty sure it does happen faster. So that's done, and I think we move on from this one to the next piece. I still need to do a little bit of work on the side to figure out how to kind of get these two bits looking a little bit more connected, because the two layers of grass here is kind of ugly. So I might do a trim, but I keep putting it off because I'm not really sure what to do yet. But the next piece we want to do is over here. So I've got a build ready to go, and I think we're just going to dive into it. I am afraid that we're going to lose the tall grass here, the illegal tall grass that is sprouting out of the water cauldron. I'm going to do my best to try and keep it. I think the placement of the new build will allow that. It might look a little out of place, but I mean, it's cool, right? It's illegal grass. How often do you get to see that? And just like that, we've got ourselves another build. So this makes, what, 3 time lapses in one video? I'm spoiling y'all. But seriously, I wanted to go with a slightly asymmetrical build this time. So you can see it's not quite round, so it's a little bit wider than it is long. Or rather, I should say it's deeper than it is wide. Yeah, that's the right one. And it's got like a little extra bouldery bit kind of poking at the back there that you don't see on the sides. I did initially try and put them on the sides as well, but the shape didn't look that good. But on the back, it's fine, I think. I might get rid of it. We'll see. But you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide, but then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. So, sorry, 5 tall, 6 across. And I think it came out all right. So it's similar enough. It follows the palette of the other builds, but just a little deviation in shape. I really can't talk today. It's the end of my work day. I just put this together after work, and I'm tired. But yeah, I didn't do anything with the floor. I'm not really sure what to do yet. I might just throw some carpet or maybe just some wool blocks in the floor. We got our little LA dude just sitting here holding his fish, and the AFK fish farm is still good to go. I guess I can take the fishing rod for the farm and put it back up. Pop it right there. And yeah, just a little bit of signage. Let us know which build it is, since they all do kind of look kind of similar. But so you can see, you've got the one here with the bow on it, indicating that the Fletcher is inside, and then you got the fisherman over here. And yeah, I know this one's on top, that one's on bottom. That's intentional, just to make it just a little bit more obvious that they are different builds. And that about does it. I also got a Thanksgiving shulker, which came with a new trophy, a bunch of custom heads, and a bunch of cool stuff. If you're curious where I got it from, I would say go and check out the Thanksgiving Day area because there is a fun little thing going on over there. So as you can see, there's a Thanksgiving Day area complete with a big table. And what players have done is we're being encouraged to add our name to a chair and dress up one of the armor stands. Since I have not died yet this season, I could not use my own head, but I decided to use a breeze head, which I've renamed, not that you can really see it. And yeah, done myself up with some white leather armor, and Harding's done the same thing, well, not the same thing, but has done his own character next to me. And yeah, but you can also come in here, and there is a chest where you can take a shulker box, and there's also a couple of other items over here, an apple cider and hot chocolate, which are potions with some special effects. And that's pretty much it. But it's a really nice build, and I think it's worth sharing. Now, I am Canadian, which means that Thanksgiving is long past for me. We have it in October. But for the Americans on the server, it is just in time for their holidays, which, as of this recording, is tomorrow, I believe. So happy Thanksgiving to anybody who celebrates it. And for those who don't, it's just another regular weekend for us, which is fine too. Oh, and did I mention I finished the tunnel here? So the front tunnel goes all the way in and out. Can't remember if I mentioned that or not, but it's done. All right, I didn't time-lapse this one, but there wasn't really much to time-lapse. I think we needed a little bit of signage at the entrance to the quarry, and now we have it. It does have an issue with rendering because it is banners, but from about here you can see it, which is good. And I went for a bit of an irregular structure to more match the reference photos that I was looking at. So we've got one more kind of like squat one, and then we've got this like more long, narrow column, and it's like jutting out a block in the front. Like they're very mismatched, and that's by design. And I've also done a little bit of work over here. I've worked the path up a little bit here, so now we can actually get into this area here without walking across like the incomplete grass nonsense. And then we've also increased up here. I think I am missing, yeah, I need to add some more slabs, but I've also done a little bit of work here in just making the path a little bit nicer. So now you can get up to the wall. I'm probably going to take this down, or I can move it back and put a little thing over it. This is just like a little auto crafter. I think I've shown it before, but I don't really need it here anymore. So yeah, so the next thing, as you may have seen, I've got a little roof over here now. Thank you, Harding, for giving me the idea to add the quartz over the top so it's not all orange. And that, you know, kind of makes sense with the calcite. Looks kind of nice. And so you can't see the grass anymore. I still need to finish the corner here. I'm probably just going to do something like this, like just an extra, I guess, banister up. But I've also added fence gates here, and we've now got a way to get down into the quarry. So I was looking at the reference shots of the Flintstones quarry, and it's just a couple of loose ladders going down into the hole. There isn't really much infrastructure. So this is actually kind of a little bit more involved than what it needed to be, and that's okay because I wanted an actual staircase down. But in order to keep with the original ladder reference, the last little bit is an actual ladder that you can just drop down and climb back up. So looking at it from a little bit further away, ow, I'm really bad at this. Yeah, so keeping with that calcite, and as you can see, I'm also alternating the fence posts here a little bit, just to give a little bit of shadow and extra texture. And you can still see the terraforming that we did in the back, which I wanted to make sure we weren't completely covering up. So I think it looks good, and it is all spawn-proof. Yeah, I think the torches are fine. It matches the aesthetic. I'll probably take this one down when I do the corner here, but this area I would say is pretty much done now. The quarry itself, I've been doing a little bit more work here and there, just adding like little patches of detail throughout the area. So I'm just continuing to do that. Don't really know how it's gonna end. Might need more patches of this, but yeah, you can see like I've just got little bits of detail here and there. and that'll just slowly come together over time. But I think with 3 time lapses and 3 builds, I think that's gonna do it for today's episode. So if you liked what you saw, maybe subscribe if you're new, leave a comment, leave a like, and I will see you next time. Bye!